Greetings. Today I'm going to give my voice to Lathal and his backstory. They call me Lathal Kirkismond, after my Elvis grandfather. My father, Grathen, is a merchant, maybe one of the richest in the floating city of Avalon. My mother, Lioneth, is a half-elf, like my father. She sings in every event organized by the nobility of the city. I also have two younger brothers, Lagos and Balthir, and one sister, Lilith. I was lucky for growing up in the Academy of Nice Arts in this huge city. I would sit together with children of noble origins, discuss poetry, literature, and philosophy for hours under the care of Father Guglielmo. Unfortunately, the good days always end at some point. So happened to me. War. War changes everyone, even a filthy boy of a rich half-bred merchant. When I was told to go to war, I was but a spoiled child, learning and writing poetry about love, God, and glorious achievements in battle. When I went to war, there was nothing glorious. There is no valor in fighting a metal-plated man wearing another metal plate on yourself, just to see who gets butchered first. There is no greatness in roaming and pillaging a village in a foreign land. For me, looking at the hundreds of unarmed peasants' faces, some of them facing the ground, while others spiked, impaled, it all made me too cynical for this world. I became a shade of my own naive self. I always check my back and never fully trust anyone. It was more than a couple of times that a simple patrol around hostages turned into bloodshed. One time, I had to take down a kid. She was a girl, not older than 9 years old. I still can't understand where she found that knife, but she definitely put it in good use by stabbing the neck of the rotten corpse that I used to call Captain. I think that her mother called her Levy when she tried to grab her. Since then, my few praise and apologies are said in the name Lady. Of course, after this incident, I not only had to execute the girl, but also her mother and sisters. The moment I was going to kill her, the girl was not screaming, she was not sobbing or begging for mercy. She was just praying or chanting, pretty ominous, I would say. I heard the sound coming from her body. It was an amulet that she had in her hand. It was made of copper. The thing is that when I took it in my hand to examine it, I swear to God, if there is one, that I heard clear voices. Some of them were very much known to me, and among them was this girl's, Lily's voice. I understand why she's haunting me. She and her family, they were all just too young and pure to die. Nice, beautiful, and mature women. For some reason, they were the best option for a bunch of necrophile footmen who were found disgracing their decapitated bodies. Those I would kill with pleasure, and also piss on their dead corpses as a bonus. but they were in good terms with high officers and got away with just one meal cut for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks. They didn't eat for 2 weeks. These are all mere examples of the gruesomeness that guided mine and thousands of other soldiers' lives throughout that war. When I came back, I walked past the doorframe of my home to see my family, living happily, like there has never been a war. All the literal battles I gave were ignored or underestimated as my humble duty to my family and my homeland. I never felt so much disdain for my own people, and I couldn't bear it. So the very next week, I said goodbye to my family for the last time. I shook my father's hand like a man. I hugged all three of my younger siblings before I bestowed on my parents their noble upbringing. I kissed my mother goodbye one last time before her eyes filled with tears for a second one. I left my house, my home, knowing I would never have the courage to return. Sorry. That same day, I was caught by the city guard for punching an officer, Benedict. In support of myself, I'll tell you that he totally deserved that punch. We met in the old city center. He was wearing his shining armor while riding a nice and strong brown palfrey near the fountain. I tried hard to ignore him, but he spotted me. Among the crowds of strangers, he screamed my name, so I had to answer to his rude call. I approached him, and then he began schooling me about my poor performance under his command. I answered ironically enough that a soldier's poor performance is a result of their commander's poor leadership. Benedict started swearing and blaming me for treacherous antics. I didn't care, but he then pulled out his pike and dismounted to invite me to adjust. However, I had enough of his games, so I pushed him over to the fountain. He grabbed me, and I fell over as well. He then began hitting me with the back of his spike, so I punched his jawline a couple of times, maybe, even between his eyes. It was until a bunch of people who were passing by neutralized me by kicking my ribs. My trial was quick. I hate bureaucracy, but this is the good in pissing the authorities off. They try their best in order to get you hanged as fast as possible.